The small town of Newbrook was quiet in the early morning. Dew covered the grass around Harmony Home for Children. This building stood tall among pine trees and flower gardens. 37 children lived here. They had all lost their parents when aliens first came to Earth. Ellen Wright walked through the hallways, checking on the sleeping children. She was the head of the orphanage. Her gray hair was tied back, and her kind eyes showed both sadness and hope. She had run this place for 15 years, but the last 2 years had been the hardest. "Ms. Ellen, I had the dream again," said a small voice. Ellen turned to see 8-year-old Danny standing in his doorway. His blonde hair stuck up in all directions, and he held a worn teddy bear tight against his chest. "Come here, sweetie," Ellen said, kneeling down. She opened her arms, and Danny ran into them. "The ships aren't coming back. You're safe here." But Ellen wasn't sure if her words were true. The Galactic Consortium had changed everything when they arrived. Most aliens seemed peaceful, but some looked at humans like they were bugs. The fighting had been brief but terrible. Many parents had died, leaving their children alone. In the kitchen, Ellen made hot chocolate while Danny sat at the big wooden table. Soon, they were joined by Lily, a teenager with dark skin and bright eyes, who helped care for the younger kids. "Couldn't sleep either?" Ellen asked her. Lily shook her head. "I was working on my science project. Mr. Joe says I might win the county fair with it." Ellen smiled. It was good to see the children thinking about normal things again. Joe Bennett, the science teacher from town, came twice a week to teach the kids. He said Lily was the smartest student he'd ever had. Outside, the first rays of sun painted the sky pink and orange. Most of the children would wake up soon. Some would cry for their parents. Others would be excited about breakfast. All of them were slowly healing. None of them noticed the large ship entering Earth's atmosphere. In his office at the Earth Defense Force base 20 miles away, Captain Frank Miller watched his screens with growing worry. The ship had not followed proper entry protocols. It belonged to Consul Zix Therian, one of the highest officials in the Galactic Consortium. "Try to contact them again," Frank ordered his communications officer. "They're not responding, sir," the young woman replied. "But they're scanning the area around Newbrook heavily." Frank grabbed his secure phone. "Get me Admiral Perez. Now." Back at the orphanage, Ellen was serving breakfast. The dining hall was noisy with children talking and laughing. 5-year-old Mia spilled her orange juice, and Ellen was cleaning it up when Joe Bennett rushed in through the back door. "Ellen, we need to get the kids to the shelter," he said, his face pale. "Now." "What's happening?" Ellen asked, but she was already moving, already calling for Lily and the other older children to help. "Military called the school. There's an unauthorized alien ship overhead. They're telling everyone to take cover." High above them, Consul Zix Therian looked at the scans. His assistant, a nervous alien with 6 limbs, stood nearby. The readings showed training equipment and high energy usage. The assistant said, "But the human authorities claim it's a civilian building." "They lie," Zix Therian said. His species had skin like blue stone and eyes that glowed yellow. "This is clearly a military training facility, disguised as something else, probably creating weapons to use against us. Sir, perhaps we should investigate further." "No. The Council has been too soft on these humans. I will show them what happens to species that try to trick us." At the orphanage, Ellen and Joe led the children toward the old bomb shelter under the building. It was a relic from Earth's wars long ago. "Quickly now," Ellen said, counting heads as they went down the stairs. In the sky, bright lights began to appear, like falling stars, but in daylight. The first blast hit the playground. The second hit the east wing where the classrooms were. Then everything became fire and noise and screaming. Ellen pushed the last 5 children into the shelter just as the main building collapsed above them. The day had begun so normally. Now everything was gone. Admiral William Carter stood still as stone on the bridge of the ESS Nightingale. The ship was Earth's best hope for peace with the aliens. It was large and white with blue lights. It had no weapons. It was meant to show that humans came in peace. But now, as the Admiral watched the video from Newbrook, peace seemed very far away. "Play it again," he said. His voice was quiet, but everyone on the bridge heard him. The screen showed the orphanage. Then came the bright lights from the sky. Then fire and smoke. Then nothing but broken walls and ash. 5 children survived, said Captain Linda Moore. She stood next to the Admiral. Her hand shook slightly, but her voice was steady. They were in the old bomb shelter with the teacher. Everyone else is gone. Admiral Carter nodded once. His face showed nothing, but his eyes were like ice. The people who worked with him knew what that meant. They had seen that look only once before, during the First Contact War. "Send this to Earth Command and the United Nations," he said. "Tell them I am coming back for emergency talks." Far away on Earth, people were already seeing the videos. News spread quickly. The attack on Harmony Home for Children was on every screen in every home. People cried. People got angry. Some wanted to fight back right away. In New York, the United Nations Security Council met in an emergency session. Leaders from all countries sat around a large table. Their faces were grim. "This was not an act of war," said the Secretary General, a tall woman from Kenya. "This was a crime against children, against humanity itself. We should strike back," said the representative from Russia, banging his fist on the table. "Show them we are not weak." "And kill more innocent people?" asked the woman from India. "Become what we hate." They argued for hours. Outside, crowds gathered. People held candles and pictures of the orphanage. They wanted justice, but most did not want more death. In a room below the main meeting hall, a smaller group gathered. Military leaders and special agents from many countries sat in silence as they watched classified videos of the attack. "Conventional war would be a disaster," said General Pat Lee from the United States. "The aliens have better ships, better weapons. We would lose millions." "Then what do you suggest?" asked Colonel Henry Dubois from France. "We cannot do nothing." The door opened. A woman walked in. She was in her 50s with short gray hair and a straight back. Everyone in the room knew who she was, though few had met her before. "Dr. Victoria Hayes," said General Lee, standing up quickly. "We didn't expect you." "Sit down, General," she said. Dr. Hayes had once been a Black Ops commander. Now she was head of Earth's Special Operations. She rarely came to meetings like this. Dr. Hayes walked to the front of the room. "We have been preparing for something like this since First Contact," she said. "Not full war, not surrender. A third option." She pressed a button. A file appeared on the screen. The name on the file said Baba Yaga. In old Russian stories, Dr. Hayes said, Baba Yaga was a witch who lived in the forest. She was not good or evil exactly, but she always punished those who harmed children. Colonel Dubois leaned forward. "You want to send a witch after the aliens?" A few people laughed nervously. "In a way," said Dr. Hayes, not smiling. "We will not bomb their cities as they bombed our orphanage. We are better than that. But we will make sure they never forget what they did. We will make sure they never sleep well again." She looked around the room. "I need approval to activate the Baba Yaga team. 7 specialists. The best we have." General Lee looked troubled. "The Galactic Consortium is powerful. If we anger them more." "They killed our children," Dr. Hayes said. Her voice was like steel. "The question is not if we respond, but how. I am offering you a way that doesn't start a war that will kill millions more." One by one, the military leaders nodded. The Baba Yaga project was approved. As she left the meeting, Dr. Hayes made a call. "Activate the team," she said. "It's time to introduce the galaxy to Baba Yaga." The moon base was hidden deep under the gray dust and rocks. Few people knew it existed. It was called the Nest, and that was where the Baba Yaga team gathered. Commander Eliza Stone arrived first. She had short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had been a Special Forces leader before she quit to adopt 3 children who had lost their parents in the First Contact War. Now she was back, her children safe with her sister. "Welcome back, Commander," said the base officer who met her at the landing pad. Eliza just nodded. She was not here to talk. She was here for the children of Harmony Home. Next came Jack Daniels. He was tall and thin with clever hands and a quick smile that did not reach his eyes. Jack could make computers do things that seemed like magic. He had grown up in foster homes, never having a real family. Orphanages had been his life until he found his way out through technology. "Nice place," he said, looking around the base. "Bet I can make it better." Maria Rodriguez was the third to arrive. She could speak 7 Earth languages and 3 alien ones. Her sister had died when the aliens first came. Maria had spent the last 5 years studying alien words and thoughts, trying to understand the beings who had taken her sister away. "We are really doing this?" she asked Eliza as they walked through the base, taking on the Galactic consul. "We are," said Eliza. "For the children." Maria nodded. "For the children." The next team member came with boxes of equipment. Nathan Parker was an engineer who knew more about alien technology than perhaps any other human. He was quiet and serious, with strong hands and patient eyes. "I'll need a workshop," was all he said when he arrived. Olivia Wu slipped into the base almost without being noticed. She moved like a shadow, quiet and quick. She had spent years learning how to be invisible, how to go where others could not. Before the Yaga call, she had been teaching these skills to orphans around the world, showing them how to be safe in dangerous places. "The others are already here?" she asked, though she knew the answer. Very little escaped Olivia's notice. Dr. Samuel Grant arrived with medical supplies and a grim face. He had treated many children hurt in the conflicts with aliens. He had seen too much pain. His hands could heal almost any wound, but he could not heal his own memories. "I hoped we would never need to use this team," he said to Eliza. "But here we are." The last to arrive was Gregory Coleman. He was older than the others, with gray in his beard and lines around his eyes. He had spent his life studying how minds work, both human and alien. He knew how to use fear, guilt, and shame as weapons. "Let's get started," he said as soon as he stepped off the transport. "We don't have much time." In the main room of the base, Dr. Hayes waited for them. On the walls were pictures of the destroyed orphanage and the children who had died there. No one looked at them for long. They didn't need to. Those images were already burned into their minds. "You all know why you're here," Dr. Hayes said. "The Galactic consul Zix Therian bombed Harmony Home for children, killing 32 children and 5 adults. They claimed it was a mistake, that they thought it was a military base. We know better." She touched a screen, and a picture of Zix Therian appeared. He looked like a tall, blue-skinned human with too many fingers and glowing yellow eyes. "Our job is not to kill him," Dr. Hayes continued. "That would only start a war. Our job is justice. Our job is to make sure that every time he closes his eyes, he sees those children. Every time he tries to sleep, he hears their voices. We will not take his life. We will take his peace." The team nodded. They all understood. "The ESS Nightingale will take Admiral Carter to the consortium's main space station for peace talks," Dr. Hayes explained. "You will go with them, hidden. While the Admiral keeps them busy, you will do your work." "What exactly is our work?" asked Jack, though they all knew in general terms. Dr. Hayes smiled, but there was no joy in it. "We are going to haunt him," she said, "like the witch in the old stories. Like Baba Yaga." For the next 3 days, they planned and prepared. Nathan and Jack worked on special devices that could affect the alien station systems. Olivia practiced moving through tight spaces in the dark. Maria studied the latest information on the consul's language and customs. Samuel prepared special drugs that could cause fear without harm. Gregory created psychological profiles of the target and his species. Commander Eliza watched them all, making sure everything worked together perfectly. On the fourth day, they boarded the Nightingale, hidden in secret compartments. As the ship lifted off from the moon, Eliza looked out a small window at the blue and green earth below. "We're coming for you, Zixtherian," she whispered. "Baba Yaga is coming." The ESS Nightingale moved slowly toward the huge space station. The station was the center of the Galactic Consortium, where representatives from hundreds of alien worlds met. It looked like a giant silver wheel spinning in space, with lights of many colors glowing along its edge. Admiral Carter stood on the bridge, dressed in his best uniform. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt both anger and determination. "We are being hailed, Admiral," said the communications officer. "Put them through," Carter said. A screen lit up, showing an alien with pale green skin and 4 eyes. This was not Zixtherian, but one of his assistants. "Earth vessel," the alien said, "you are granted permission to dock. The Council will hear your concerns." The way he said concerns made it clear he did not think human concerns mattered much. "Thank you," Admiral Carter said politely. "We come seeking peace and understanding." This was not exactly true, but Carter was good at hiding his real thoughts. As the Nightingale docked at the station, the Baba Yaga team prepared in their hidden compartment. They wore special suits that Nathan had designed. The suits were black and fitted close to their bodies. They had many pockets for tools and weapons. "These suits will hide you from most sensors," Nathan explained. "They absorb heat and light. They also block most scans that could detect humans." "Most scans?" asked Maria. "Not all." Nathan shook his head. "Nothing is perfect. Move quickly and stay in the shadows." "Always do," said Olivia with a small smile. Shadows were her home. Commander Eliza checked her team one last time. "Remember the plan," she said. "We are not here to hurt anyone. We are here for justice, not revenge." The others nodded. They all understood the difference, though it was sometimes a thin line. When the ship was secure at the dock, Admiral Carter and his official team left to meet with the consortium representatives. They made a lot of noise and drew much attention, which was part of the plan. While everyone watched the Admiral, the Baba Yaga team slipped out through a maintenance hatch on the bottom of the ship. One by one, they dropped down into the dark space beneath the docking area. Olivia went first, moving like water in the low gravity. She found the maintenance tunnel that led into the station, just where their intelligence said it would be. She waved the others forward. The team moved through dim tunnels where only service robots usually went. The air was stale and smelled of oil. Sometimes they had to squeeze through tight spaces or climb up vertical shafts. Olivia led the way, with Jack close behind. Jack carried a small device that showed them the way through the maze of tunnels. "First target is 2 levels up," Jack whispered, looking at his device. "Environmental control system." They found a ladder and climbed up, careful to make no sound. At the top, a locked door blocked their way. Jack pulled out a small tool and pressed it against the door's control panel. Lights flickered on the panel, and then the door slid open silently. "Nice," said Maria. "Thank you," Jack replied with a quick grin. The environmental control room was empty except for rows of humming machines. The aliens did not expect anyone to sneak in here, so they did not guard it well. Jack and Nathan went to work quickly, connecting small devices to various control panels. These devices would not damage the life support. The Baba Yaga team were not killers, but they would allow the team to control temperature, sound, and even smells in certain parts of the station. While they worked, Maria and Samuel moved to the next target, the food production system. Here they placed more devices that could affect the taste and appearance of food, but not make it harmful. Olivia and Gregory made their way toward the communications center, moving like ghosts through service corridors and unused spaces. They placed devices that could create strange sounds and images on screens throughout the station. Commander Eliza coordinated them all, keeping track of their progress and watching for any signs of danger. In a grand meeting hall, Admiral Carter was speaking to the consortium representatives. His voice was calm and reasonable as he discussed the unfortunate incident at the orphanage. "We understand that mistakes happen in times of tension," he said, though it cost him much to say these words. "Earth wishes to move forward in a spirit of cooperation." As he spoke, his eyes found Consul Zix Therian sitting in a special chair above the others. The consul looked bored, as if the death of 32 children was a small matter not worth his full attention. "To show our commitment to peace," Admiral Carter continued, "we have brought gifts for all representatives." This was also part of the plan. As servants distributed small packages to all the aliens, the Baba Yaga team worked quickly to finish their mission. "All devices are in place," Jack reported to Eliza over their secure comm system, "ready to activate on your command." "Good," said Eliza. "Now for the final touch." She pulled a small wooden doll from a pocket in her suit. It looked like the kind of doll a child might play with. She had brought one for each member of the team. These dolls would be left in places where they would send a clear message. "For the children," Eliza whispered, holding the doll tight for a moment. Then she moved toward the private quarters of Consul Zix Therian, where no human had ever been allowed before. It was time for Baba Yaga to begin her haunting. At exactly 300 hours station time, when most aliens were in their sleep cycle, Commander Eliza gave the order. "Activate all devices," she said softly into her comm unit. "Begin Operation Baba Yaga." Jack, hidden in a service area near the main computer core, smiled as he pressed a button on his control pad. "Devices active," he replied. "Let the haunting begin." Across the space station, things began to change. In his private quarters, Consul Zix Therian woke suddenly. The room felt cold, much colder than his species liked. The lights flickered, though they should have stayed dim during sleep hours. "Computer, raise temperature," he ordered. No response came. Instead, a sound began to play through the speakers in his room. It was faint at first, then grew louder. The sound of children laughing. Then the laughter changed to crying. Zix Therian sat up, fully awake now. "Computer, silence. Security, respond." The crying continued. The temperature dropped further. And then, on the screen across from his sleeping platform, images appeared. Human children, the children of Harmony Home. Their faces looked directly at him, their eyes sad and accusing. The consul reached for his emergency communicator, but it showed only static. On the static, words appeared in his language. "We are Baba Yaga. We come for those who harm children." Meanwhile, all across the station, strange things were happening. In the quarters of other high officials, screens showed brief glimpses of the destroyed orphanage. In meeting rooms, the temperature would suddenly drop, creating cold spots that moved around like someone walking. Food dispensers produced meals that looked normal but tasted like ash. Consul Zix Therian called for his guards. 3 large aliens with weapons rushed in, but they looked confused and afraid. "Something is wrong with the station," one guard said. "Communications are not working right. Security sensors show intruders, but when we go there, no one is there." "Find them," Zix Therian shouted. "Find whoever is doing this." In the shadows of the ventilation system, Olivia watched through a small opening. She could see the consul's fear growing. Good. She moved silently away, heading to her next position. Nathan and Jack worked together in the central computer hub, carefully controlling their devices. They made sure life support stayed working perfectly. They didn't want to hurt anyone. They just wanted to scare them, to make them feel what the children had felt. "Security teams are moving toward Section 12, Maria reported over the comm. She was monitoring alien communications from a hiding spot near their command center. "They think the intruders are there." "Good," said Eliza. "Samuel, Gregory, move to Section 15. Keep them chasing shadows." As the night went on, The haunting grew worse. In his private bathroom, Zixtherian found all the water had turned red like human blood. When he tried to call other officials, their faces on the screen would sometimes change to the faces of dead children. The consul tried to leave his quarters, but outside in the corridor, the lights went out as he approached, leaving him in darkness. From the darkness came whispers in his own language. "You killed us. We were only children. Why did you hurt us?" Zixtherian ran back to his quarters and sealed the door. His hands shook. His yellow eyes were wide with fear. On his sleeping platform was something that had not been there before, a small wooden doll, like human children played with. He stared at it, not understanding how it got there. His quarters had been locked and guarded. The doll's painted eyes seemed to watch him. In the main meeting hall, Admiral Carter was awakened by an urgent call. A group of consortium officials wanted to speak with him immediately. When he arrived, he found them nervous and angry. "Your humans are doing something to our station," said one official, a tall alien with fur and 6 eyes. "I don't know what you mean," Admiral Carter said calmly. "My staff is all accounted for, and we have no technology that could affect your systems." "Then how do you explain this?" the alien demanded, showing a screen where the words "Baba Yaga comes for those who harm children" flashed in several languages. Carter looked surprised, though he wasn't. "I've heard old Earth stories about Baba Yaga," he said slowly. "She was a witch who punished those who hurt children. But that's just a story." "These are not stories," shouted another official. "Something is haunting this station." In his office, watching through security feeds that the aliens didn't know he could access, Gregory smiled. The psychological impact was working even better than he had hoped. The aliens' own guilt was making the effects seem worse than they actually were. By morning station time, the consortium was in chaos. Officials reported seeing human children in empty hallways. Some said they heard crying in rooms where no one was present. Food tasted wrong. Screens showed disturbing images, and no one could explain the small wooden dolls that appeared in strange places. But the worst was Consul Zixtherian. He had not slept. His eyes were wild. He kept saying that the dead children were watching him, that they were in the walls, in the floors, everywhere. When his top assistant came to speak with him, Zixtherian grabbed him in panic. "You must help me," the consul cried. "The humans have sent their witch after me. Baba Yaga is here." The assistant tried to calm him, but Zixtherian was beyond reason. "I made a mistake," he shouted, not caring who heard. "It was just an orphanage. Just children. I didn't check. I just gave the order to fire." Hidden nearby, Maria recorded everything. The consul was confessing, just as they had hoped. 3 days after the haunting began, the Galactic Consortium called for an emergency meeting of all representatives. The grand hall was packed with aliens from hundreds of worlds. They came in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Some breathed air, some water, and some other gases. Some had many eyes, some had none. But they all shared one thing. They were worried. Stories about the strange events on the station had spread quickly. Everyone had heard about Baba Yaga, the Earth Witch who punished those who harmed children. Many aliens now looked at the humans with new fear and respect. Admiral Carter sat with his team, watching as consortium officials tried to explain what had happened. The humans looked calm, giving no sign that they knew anything about the events. On a high platform sat several important officials. The seat for Consul Zixtherian was empty. "Where is the consul?" asked a representative from a world of gentle plant-like beings. "He is unwell," said an assistant. "He will join us soon." In truth, Zixtherian had not left his quarters for days. He was too afraid, but now he had been ordered to appear, to show that he was still strong, still in control. Hidden throughout the hall, the Baba Yaga team watched and waited. They had not returned to the Nightingale. Their mission was not complete until justice was done. "Is everything ready?" Eliza asked through their secure comm. "All set," Jack replied. One push of a button, and every screen in this hall will show what we recorded. Maria added, "The translation system is also ready. Everyone will hear and understand, no matter what language they speak." The doors at the back of the hall opened. Consul Zix Therian entered, trying to look confident, but anyone could see that something was wrong. The consul's blue skin had turned pale. His glowing yellow eyes darted around as if looking for threats. His hands shook slightly. He took his seat on the platform, not looking at Admiral Carter or the other humans. The head of the consortium, a wise old alien with silver skin and gentle eyes, began to speak. "We have gathered to discuss the attack on the Earth facility called Harmony Home for Children," she said, "and the strange events that have happened here since." Zix Therian shifted in his seat. He looked nervous. The silver alien continued. "Consul Zix Therian has stated that he believed the facility was a military training center, but new evidence has come to light." From her hiding place, Eliza gave the signal. Jack pressed the button on his control pad. Every screen in the hall lit up with the same image. Zix Therian in his quarters, wild-eyed and frightened, shouting at his assistant. "I made a mistake." The recorded Zix Therian said, "It was just an orphanage. Just children. I didn't check. I just gave the order to fire." The real Zix Therian jumped to his feet, pointing at the screens. "This is a trick. The humans did this. They sent their witch after me." The hall went quiet. Everyone stared at him. Admiral Carter stood up slowly. "What witch, Consul? I thought you said it was just tricks." "Baba Yaga," Zix Therian shouted, no longer caring how he sounded. "She is here. She left her dolls. She made the children's faces appear. She made them speak to me." The silver alien looked at him with sad eyes. "Consul, there have been no reports of human intruders on the station. All security scans show nothing." "Because she is a witch," Zix Therian insisted. His voice was getting higher, more desperate. "The humans sent her to punish me." A small wooden doll appeared suddenly on the table in front of him. No one saw how it got there. Zix Therian jumped back with a cry of fear, knocking over his chair. The crowd of representatives began to murmur. Some looked frightened. Others looked angry, at Zix Therian, not at the humans. The silver alien raised her hands for quiet. "Consul Zix Therian, did you order the attack on the Earth orphanage without proper verification that it was a military target?" All eyes turned to the consul. He looked around wildly, as if seeking escape, but there was nowhere to go. And somewhere in the shadows, he felt sure, Baba Yaga was watching. "Yes," he finally said, his voice breaking. "Yes, I ordered the attack. I wanted to show the humans that they could not hide weapons from us. I did not check carefully." A wave of shock moved through the crowd. To attack without proper verification was against all consortium laws. To kill children was worse, unforgivable to most species. The silver alien's voice was cold now. "You admit that you killed 32 young ones and 5 adults without cause." "They were just humans," Zix Therian said weakly. The hall erupted in angry voices. Many species in the consortium had their own painful histories of being treated as just something by others. They did not accept this excuse. Admiral Carter waited for the noise to die down before he spoke. "The people of Earth do not want war," he said, his voice carrying throughout the hall. "We want justice, and we want to know that such an attack will never happen again." The silver alien nodded. "The consortium agrees. Consul Zix Therian will be removed from his position and will face trial for his crimes." She looked at Carter. "We offer our deepest regrets for this terrible act. Reparations will be made to your people, and the site of this Harmony home will become a protected memorial under our laws." Carter nodded his acceptance. It was what they had hoped for. In the shadows, the Baba Yaga team heard these words with mixed feelings. Justice was being done, but it could not bring back the children who had died. "Mission complete," Eliza said softly into her comm. Let's go home." As they made their way back to their hidden exit, Olivia paused. She took out her wooden doll and placed it carefully on a ledge where it would be found later. The other team members did the same in different places. They left one final message on the station's main computer: Baba Yaga protects the children. Remember, in the weeks after the Baba Yaga mission, stories spread across the galaxy. Ship captains at spaceports told tales about the human witch soldiers who could walk through walls and drive enemies mad with guilt. Alien traders spoke in hushed voices about how humans protected their young ones. No one knew exactly what had happened on the consortium station. The officials said only that there had been technical problems. But rumors flew faster than light between the stars. The name Baba Yaga entered the languages of many species. It always meant the same thing: justice that could not be escaped. On Earth, Admiral Carter held a private ceremony for the Baba Yaga team. No medals were given. The mission was still classified. But Carter thanked each member personally. "What you did may have prevented a war," he told them. "You showed the consortium that humans can reach them anywhere, but also that we are merciful. We seek justice, not blind revenge." Commander Eliza nodded. She was already thinking about going home to her children. They needed her more than Earth did, at least for now. "Will they call on us again?" Jack asked, looking around at his teammates. They had become close during their mission, like a family. "I hope not," Admiral Carter said honestly. "But the protocols will remain active. Baba Yaga will be ready if needed." In the days that followed, the team members returned to their normal lives, or tried to. Some found it easier than others. Olivia went back to teaching orphan children how to stay safe. Now when she showed them how to hide, how to move silently, she felt even more strongly that these were skills they might truly need one day. Samuel returned to his medical practice, healing the wounds of those hurt in the ongoing tensions between humans and aliens. Sometimes at night, he dreamed of blue-skinned aliens running in fear from shadows. He wasn't sure how he felt about those dreams. Maria continued her work with alien languages, but now she had a new perspective. She had seen how words could be weapons, how fear could be created with sounds and images. She used this knowledge to build better understanding between species. Nathan buried himself in his workshop, studying the alien technology they had encountered. He believed that humans needed to catch up quickly if they wanted to survive in the galaxy. His new designs incorporated things he had learned on the station. Jack went back to his computers, but he found them less interesting now. He had tasted real action, real purpose. He began to spend more time visiting orphanages, teaching kids about technology, showing them how to build and create rather than just use. Gregory wrote papers about alien psychology, carefully hiding how he had gained his insights. His work helped diplomatic teams better understand the species they dealt with. He never mentioned Baba Yaga, but sometimes he included quotes from old Earth stories about the witch who protected children. Eliza spent a month with her adopted children, just being a mother. She took them to parks and movies. She helped with homework. She listened to their problems. But sometimes her mind wandered back to the mission, to the feeling of doing something truly important. Dr. Hayes kept the Baba Yaga files secure in her private safe. The project was marked complete, but renewable. She knew that sometimes the threat of Baba Yaga might be enough. Now when alien diplomats became difficult, someone would often whisper, "Remember the witch." It was usually enough to bring them back to reason. Across the galaxy, the story changed as it traveled. On some worlds, Baba Yaga became a monster that ate those who hurt children. On others, she was a ghost who could never be escaped. On a few, she was seen as a kind of dark angel, bringing necessary justice. The truth was both simpler and more complex. Baba Yaga was not magic or supernatural. She was human ingenuity, courage, and determination. She was the will to protect the most vulnerable, even against the most powerful. In the consortium's prison, awaiting trial, former consul Zix Therian still woke screaming some nights. The haunting had stopped when he confessed, but he could not forget. In his dreams, human children still watched him with sad eyes. In the darkness of his cell, he sometimes thought he saw a small wooden doll sitting in the corner, watching. On one world far from Earth, an alien child asked her parent, "Is Baba Yaga real? Will she come for bad people who hurt us?" The parent, who had heard the stories from a trader who had spoken with someone who knew someone who had been on the consortium station during those strange days, thought carefully before answering. "Yes," the parent said finally. "Baba Yaga is real, but she does not come for all bad people, only for those who harm children, and only when it is necessary." "How does she know when it's necessary?" the child asked. The parent made a humming sound, their species equivalent of a sigh. "That is the mystery," they said. "But I believe she knows. I believe she watches. And I believe that is good." The story of Baba Yaga became a warning to those who might think of harming the weak or the innocent. It became a reminder that actions have consequences, that justice may come in unexpected forms. Across the galaxy, diplomatic missions from Earth were treated with new respect. When humans spoke in consortium meetings, people listened. The humans had revealed a strength that no one had suspected, a power that went beyond weapons or technology. In private conversations among consortium officials, a new idea began to form. Perhaps humans should be given full membership status sooner than planned, not just because they were feared, but because they had shown a kind of wisdom. They had found justice without starting a war. They had punished without destroying. As one alien put it, any species that can create Baba Yaga, and then choose when not to use her, is a species we want as allies, not enemies. And somewhere on Earth, in a secure facility, the protocols for Project Baba Yaga remained active, waiting, just in case they were needed again. 1 year after the bombing of Harmony Home for Children, a new building stood on the same spot. It was larger than the old orphanage, with strong walls and a special shield that could protect it from attacks from space. The building was shaped like a big circle, with a garden in the middle where children could play safely. This new place was not built by humans alone. 17 different alien species had sent money, workers, and materials to help. The main doors were carved from wood that came from a forest world 10 light years away. The windows were made of special glass that changed color with the sun, created by artists from a gas giant's moon. Even the garden had plants from 3 different worlds, all safe for human children to touch and smell. On the day the new building opened, Ellen Wright stood at the front door. She had been away gathering supplies when the old orphanage was destroyed. For months after, she had blamed herself for not being there. Now she was back, ready to begin again. "Are you ready?" asked an alien standing beside her. The alien looked like a tall, thin human with pale purple skin and 6 fingers on each hand. His name was Kelvorin, and he had once worked for Consul Zix Therian. Now he worked for the new orphanage, trying to make up for what his people had done. "I think so," Ellen said. She took a deep breath and opened the doors. Inside, 37 new beds waited for children. 5 of these beds would be filled by the survivors from the old orphanage. The rest would welcome new children, not just humans, but young ones from other worlds who had lost their families in various conflicts. The 5 survivors were the first to enter. Danny, now 9, walked in holding the hand of a small alien child with scales and big eyes. Lily, the teenager, came next, carrying a box of science books. The other 3, Max, Penny, and Sam, looked around with wide eyes at their new home. "It's so big," Max said. "And pretty," Penny added. Behind them came the new children. Some walked on 2 legs, some on 4, some floated, and one rolled like a ball. They were all different, but they all shared the same lost look that Ellen knew too well. They needed a home. They needed safety. "Welcome to New Harmony Home," Ellen said to them all. "This is a place where you can feel safe and learn about each other. This is a place where we remember the past, but also build a new future." Throughout the day, visitors came to see the new orphanage. Some were important people from Earth. Others were representatives from alien worlds. They spoke different languages, but translators helped everyone understand each other. In the afternoon, a special ceremony was held in the garden. People gathered around 32 trees planted in a circle. Each tree came from a different world, and each one stood for a child who had died in the bombing. Between the trees, stone paths formed a pattern that, seen from above, looked like a protection symbol known on many worlds. Admiral Carter was there, standing straight in his uniform. Dr. Hayes came too, though few people knew who she really was. From a distance, the Baba Yaga team watched. They had come separately, not as a team, but they nodded to each other across the crowd. A tall alien with silver skin, the head of the consortium, stepped forward to speak. "Today we make a promise," she said, her voice translated into many languages at once. "The protection of all children, of all species, is now a core principle of the Galactic Consortium. What happened here must never happen again anywhere." The crowd clapped. Even some of the children joined in, though many didn't understand the big words or why the adults had tears in their eyes. As evening fell and the visitors left, Ellen sat on a bench in the garden, watching the new children explore their home. The 5 survivors were helping the others, showing them around, making them feel welcome. "They will be okay," said a voice. Ellen looked up to see Olivia Wu sitting down beside her. Ellen didn't know that Olivia was part of Baba Yaga. She knew her only as a woman who sometimes taught the children safety skills. "I hope so," Ellen said. "They've lost so much." "But they've gained something too," Olivia said. "Look at them. Human children playing with alien children, learning each other's games. That wouldn't have happened before." Ellen nodded slowly. It was true. Before the bombing, most humans still kept their distance from aliens. Now, at least here, things were different. As the stars came out, the last visitors left. But if anyone had looked carefully at the memorial garden, they might have seen 7 figures moving quietly between the trees. Each one carried something small, which they placed carefully at the base of a tree. Small wooden dolls, like the ones that had haunted Consul Zixtherian. But these dolls were not meant to frighten. They were reminders, promises. Baba Yaga was watching. Baba Yaga would always protect the children. In her office, Ellen found a note that hadn't been there before. It said simply, "We will always be watching over them. You are not alone." She didn't know who we were, but the note made her feel safer somehow. That night, when all the children were asleep in their new beds, a ship passed silently over Newbrook. It didn't show up on any radar. Inside, Dr. Hayes looked down at the new orphanage with its garden of remembrance. "Project update," she said into a secure comm unit. "New Harmony Home is operational. Phase 1 complete." "And Phase 2? Asked a voice that belonged to a high government official. "Also progressing well," Dr. Hayes replied. "The Baba Yaga protocols have been shared with trusted allies among 17 species. The network is growing. The children will be protected, not just here, but everywhere." The official was quiet for a moment. Then, "Good. Let's hope we never need to activate it again." "Let's hope," Dr. Hayes agreed. But she knew better. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous. Baba Yaga would be needed again someday, and she would be ready. As the ship turned away, heading back to its secret base, the lights of New Harmony Home glowed warmly in the darkness. Inside, children from Earth and beyond slept safely. Above them hung pictures of the children who had died, so they would not be forgotten. And beside each new bed sat a small wooden doll, watching over the sleeping children. The legend of Baba Yaga had changed the galaxy. It had taught many species that humans would go to any length to protect their children. And now, the children of others too. It had shown that justice could come in many forms, sometimes quiet, sometimes fierce, but always certain. In the years that followed, whenever a dispute involved children, someone would always bring up the story of Baba Yaga. And quickly, very quickly, people would find a peaceful solution. For the witch who protected children was still out there, somewhere among the stars, watching and waiting. Not a real witch, of course, but something perhaps more powerful. An idea, a promise, a warning. Baba Yaga was watching over the children of the galaxy, and that made the galaxy a safer place for everyone.